If you like Andrew Tate, then I hate to do this to you, but you will not like this video. But if you don't like Andrew Tate, you will definitely not like this video. But let's assume for a second that you do not know who Andrew Tate is, and considering you are an Indian watching this video, I want you to focus on this one particular clip.
I told them, I said, "Aaj kar kya hai?" My parents are watching.
This is Hardik Pandya, star cricketer of India, probably India Cup future captain of the cricket team, and this is Andrew Tate.
What would a woman do? Slap the machete, slap her in the face, one hand, machete, and then backhand. I perfected this in pimp school. When I got my PhD, we had to practice if a girl comes at you, you cheater, you cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, then grip her up by the neck.
इन दोनों के बीच में एक बहुत बड़ी सिमिलैरिटी है और एक बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है. The similarity is that both of these guys candidly spoke about their true nature, their true feelings, their true thoughts, but only one of them had to get out in the open, apologize for their action, and had to do an entire makeover of their public image ताकि उनका career खत्म ना हो. The other one has been capitalizing on the toxicity of the internet and polarizing a fan base to earn money, and has built a cult-like following that, in my opinion, grew even more exponentially when he went to jail on charges that are not yet proved. The big difference between the two that Hardik Pandya had other stakes in other parts of his life which could have been impacted by the woke internet culture that was out there to cancel him, and Andrew Tate has purposefully built his brand to double down on this narrative that he is targeting young men and wants to help them improve and escape the matrix. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 things that are very important for you as an Indian or a South Asian viewer, because you are yet to be impacted by the supposed wokeness of the internet and culture that is plaguing the West, that Andrew Tate is capitalizing on to build his brand, build his cult audience, and get a ton of money out of them. We're going to focus on cancel culture, what it was 4 years ago, what it is changing now, and why cancel culture itself is getting cancelled. And finally, I'm going to give you 3 tips that you can implement in your life by the end of this video to make sure that you are not impacted by cancel culture and the control that it takes on your brain and distracts you to continue arguing on the internet rather than actually focusing on your own life. Let's begin. Now, what is this cancel culture that we keep talking about? What was it 10 years ago when internet was in its infancy, and what is it now? A minute ago, we took the examples of 2 Indian cricketers, KL Rahul and Hardik Pandya, which faced a lot of flack online when an episode of a popular talk show called Coffee with Karan aired on television, and the 2 cricketers were casually talking about their own personal dating lives. Well, it was majorly Hardik Pandya who faced the backlash of the internet for making sexist, racist, and misogynistic comments. KL Rahul also faced a lot of backlash just by virtue of being associated with Hardik Pandya on the same couch. The players speak about the women they've been with, how Hardik Pandya approaches girls, and the memeable line that became incredibly popular. ये Indian examples मैं इसलिए रहा हूँ because the Indian audience resonates with them, and these are examples that have happened in front of us. Another example of this rhetoric is this guy called Hindustani Bhau.
निकल पहली फुर्सत में निकल.
Similarly, made even more egregious comments on women, on neighboring countries, inciting war, inciting violence. And a majority of the audience actually agreed with him, giving him momentous rise by way of memes, by way of pop culture, enough that he featured in India's biggest, most prominent reality TV show. It got him the limelight that he wanted. Now note that I am not talking about getting cancelled or eradicated from the internet for things that are illegal. I'm talking about things and opinions and tweets and thoughts that do not agree with what the masses currently think. I have so many more examples. Kangana Ranaut getting all of the flack for supporting the current government. AIB, India's biggest creator collective, getting cancelled for things that some of their members did, but it affected a majority of the company that has been establishing goodwill for years. And globally as well, Kevin Hart getting backlash for homophobic tweets that were made years ago. James Gunn getting fired from Disney for things that he said years ago. Normal people on the internet, celebrities, all living in fear that anything that they have said in the past or they say in the future can, could, and will be used against them to cancel. And all it does is shows us how devastating it could be for someone to get cancelled on the internet. But Andrew Tate, he's different. Anyone going on the internet claiming his wife to be his property would definitely have been cancelled in the times that we have seen. But Andrew Tate was not cancelled. He grew bigger. There are people in huge number that were celebrating Andrew Tate getting released from prison. They're supporting him on social media. They're treating him as a messiah. They're treating him as the role model that internet collectively deserved. And it makes me wonder what happened. Why could they not cancel Andrew Tate? He was banned from multiple social media platforms. The only platform that he currently is existing on is Twitter, but his popularity is at an all-time high. People love him. And don't get me wrong, I certainly believe that some of the comments that he has made, even in jest,
What would a woman do?
they're sexist, they're misogynistic, they're definitely worse than Aaj Karke Aaya Hoon. And yet the internet could not cancel.
I am now the alpha.
Bro.
Not how this works.
See, the answer is going to be fairly simple. Andrew Tate managed to do something that no one on the internet could do before. He has managed to have a huge number of supporters despite the countless controversies he's been on, and there are some really strong points to support him. I need to mention though, this is not a take on him being right or wrong. If I wanted to support him, I could have compiled a list of things that he has said that could actually be helpful to the ton of people that he's reached out to, and it would still get a lot of love and hate, but would not get us anywhere. So let's focus on facts and not narratives. You may be disappointed when I tell you this, but the reason Tate has so many followers is because he is real. One of the most interesting things about people who live by their own rules is that they're fascinating to watch because they are unapologetically themselves. Andrew Tate is without a doubt one of them. Salman Khan is one of them. Shah Rukh Khan is one of them. Ashneer Grover is one of them. Now, because the majority of the internet does not currently agree with the opinions Andrew Tate has, and some of them are unagreeable, all of these other people have also said things that are not agreeable by the internet. And yet, because the stature of the work that they have done is much bigger than what they individually personally stand for, their reality, the authenticity of the temperament gets them to connect with millions of people. You take pleasure in watching these individuals and people being themselves. You enjoy seeing them be themselves much more than you enjoy you being yourself. And you know that. And once you know that, you realize that it is impossible to cancel someone for being themselves. One of the most interesting things about the Andrew Tate persona and the reason so many people resonate with him is that he looks like the things he says he is. If he says he's rich, strong, smart, funny and has girls around him all the time, it is because he is rich, strong, smart, funny and has girls around him all the time. It's the same reason he got support from the masses who have insecurities about their masculinity, because he showed and he proved that he once had no power, he was not strong, he was not rich and he lived a terrible life. He gave the people that have these insecurities and have been supported by the anti-culture of everything that stood masculine in the West, he gave them a ray of hope. He became a symbol, a literal messiah for them. Andrew Tate, through his confidence, his popularity and the cult of audience that he has amassed, has not only become incredibly rich and influential, he has now become anti-fragile. The more you hate him, the more attention he gets. The more attention he gets, the more confidence he gets. The more confidence he gets, the bigger he gets. And it's a never-ending cycle where Andrew Tate is just becoming stronger because he is being subjected to so many stressors. However, the most coincidental and the most impactful boost for the Andrew Tate narrative is the hatred that the people have for the mainstream media. I'm not talking about India, I'm talking about the West, where people have understood and openly come out to say that no one takes the mainstream media seriously anymore. No one believes that big tech censors for the well-being of its audience. No one believes that they're politically neutral. No one believes that the biggest voices with the biggest track record of historical importance are working actively for the benefit of their current audience. When someone gets cancelled, it does not invoke a reaction of cancellation from the majority. It invokes a reaction from the vocal minority that sighs and acts actively to magnify the voice because they believe that the mainstream is trying to silence something that they do not believe. Now, of course, this does give rise to a ton of conspiracy theories, but if you were an individual who was sitting in the West and all of your lives, your social lives become a waking nightmare on who to believe and who to not, when someone comes up with a sense of clarity about themselves and tries to guide you in a direction that can help you improve your life, you will cling on to them. The new cancellation pattern goes like this, and we have two examples which are very popular right now: Kanye West and Andrew Tate. You say something outrageous with the bottom of truth that will spur companies to rethink their relationships with you. It includes social medias, it includes bigger giants. You get cancelled and you then get invited to every podcast. You get so many more voices than you had before your cancellation, including the ones on the platform that just tried to cancel you. And voila, it gets you more audience. The ultimate reason though why cancel culture is getting cancelled is because of the emergence of the woke ideology that has taken over the internet in the last decade. It is not a coincidence that figures like Andrew Tate have risen in popularity as an alternate to the extreme woke and liberal culture. It is actually a byproduct of that woke extremism. This ideology has caused individuals to sacrifice their authenticity for the sake of acceptance. Consequently, this has limited the freedom of speech and expression to the extent that cancelling people has become synonymous with boycotting a product. And it is not just in the West that this is happening, it is happening right here in India where we get boycotts because certain groups do not like certain people who are acting in certain films. Where certain individuals who are brand representative for a particular brand, the brand has to face backlash because the individual made certain comments which angered a few people. Ultimately, the ensuing exasperation has become so fundamentally flawed that boycotting and cancelling itself has become a joke at this point. And the current state of the internet has enabled people to express their opinions without considering the ethical ramifications of it. Ultimately, we have to understand that cancel culture is nothing more than a power trip for the individuals that want to control and see the narrative that they believe in magnify. Cancel culture and the collective power of the internet is good and rather necessary when it keeps people in check from doing illegal things. But the internet is now in a stage where we are realizing that cancel culture actively stops growth of us as individuals and as a culture. Cancel culture wants you to be done, finished, ended for just one mistake you've made. The ultimate flaw in the cancel culture ideology, however, is the belief that when you as an individual try to cancel someone and judge them, you believe that you are perfect when that could not be further from the truth because nobody is perfect. Cancel culture intends to keep you occupied with issues that are actually non-issues so that you can actively spend more time on the internet, spend more time arguing and not actively focusing on the reality of the world. That is what the basis of the matrix that Andrew Tate wants you to focus on. He has built a whole empire on top of, does capitalize on the insecure people who want to improve their life, and the only way they see is Andrew Tate. He does make money out of them, but it still does not change the fact that the reason Andrew Tate could not get cancelled is because these other people on the internet, in the chaos of the internet, could only find his voice as the sole singular point of clarity that they could focus on, attach themselves and attempt to get out of their scenarios. That is why we have to understand that cancel culture is not the intention to get someone off of the internet. It is an intention and an active rhetoric to push your narrative, what you believe in. And as human beings, we're complex people. There is no one truth that we can believe in. We are complex people who have different lives, different ideologies, and we will associate with some and disassociate with some. It is the entire history of human culture because it has been driven by discourse. There have been multiple wars fought over it, and this one is happening on the internet. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I hope you understood the rhetorics behind cancel culture and the significance of Andrew Tate as a prominent figure in internet culture. If you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel because we bring stuff like this, detailed videos, analysis on pop culture, current events, a lot on this channel. And if you want to grow your own personal brand, become someone like Andrew Tate, or not like Andrew Tate in terms of his ideology, but someone who has a great personal brand, there's a workshop that I do every month. You can visit it at dothinkstellpeople.in. Or just click the first link in the description if you want to grow, enhance, and understand how you can grow on social media, create your own personal brand so that it can help you in college, school, your office, jobs, businesses. All of us need a personal brand, and in a 3-hour workshop, I teach you exactly how to do that. Link in the description, sign up, comment down below what your favorite part of the video was, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.